Fight! Dum 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 dum.
Hello, today we are going to rank In Extremo albums, including the new album Wolkenschieber. I thought about making a review, but later I thought I should rank all the In Extremo albums because the band had really big impact on me in 2000s, and to this day I follow the band, and the band got bigger than ever. For those who don't know, In Extremo used to be a medieval folk metal band mixed with alternative metal, and now it's more like alternative metal mixed with folk music, and they really made some quite different albums that had different impact on me in different times. So I will try to rank them. It's my opinion about the albums, it's my personal experience on the band. It may be different with you, but if you don't know the band, I hope it will be a guide that you can use where to start and what are you looking for. I also have to mention that they have a few acoustic albums in the beginning, but I will leave them out. I will start with the rock era for the band, and the first rock album for the band was Weg die Toten. This album, it really feels a little homemade, but that's what I love it. It's a very, very raw experience for the band. It's really about the folk roots. I think there are a lot of remade songs from the acoustic era, and it's an amazing album. It has some songs that are hellraisers in their live shows. Willeman och Meinhild. It's raw, it's wild. I really appreciate that nowadays more than polished sound. So when I re-listened to this album, my blood was really boiling and heating, so it will stay on the top albums. I can spoil you that. For now it's the first one. And now we have the second album, which is called Verehrt und Angespien, which is also very based on folk songs, on medieval folk songs. It has more sensitive way of expression. Even you don't understand the lyrics, you can understand what they are about. It has more heavy metalish sound on that. It was my first In Extremo album, so it was my favorite for a very, very long time. Now, after re-listening it, I really appreciate Weg die Toten a little bit more for the raw sound. At the end of the day, I thought what I would love to hear on the live set from the band. I think they are more on Weg die Toten than in Verehrt und Angespien. This is more polished, but the guitar sound isn't that unique that it could be, and we will see that in the future. Talking about the later albums, I will put it on the second now. And the next one is a game changer, Sünder ohne Zügel. I think they changed guitar player here, and you can really sense that because it has more darker alternative guitar parts here. It's really darker than previous ones. It's very much more creative. If you ask me, it's definitive ultimate In Extremo album. If you ask me for that one album and asking what In Extremo is about, it's Sünder ohne Zügel. Every song here is untouchable. It's very unique sounding record. Folk instruments on previous albums sounds like more like in the folk songs, and on this one it sounds more like they were revived for a new life, for a new existence in totally different context. Sünder ohne Zügel really goes to the first place. The next album, which is called 7, it really follows the same formula as Sünder ohne Zügel. I really remember that I was a little bit disappointed in the album back in the day, but now after listening it really fascinates me. On many songs it's darker and heavier than Sünder ohne Zügel. Still, it is more like continuation on Zunder on its Hugel, and I still appreciate the first album more. I would say now, after listening to it, I will say it's better than Verertung Tangespielen. It's more in extremo that they should be. I will rank it at number 3 for now. The next one is Mein Rasenherz. So we got this more like Marianistic image for the band, but to be frank, it was very disappointing for me. A lot of songs are not that memorable. It's more lightweight than previous albums. It's a good album, don't get me wrong, it's a good album. It's not amazing, although I think it was successful. They have this track called Nur ihr allein.
Nur ihr allein könnt ein Teil des Ganzen sein. Ihr könnt vor eurem,
which is very commercial song, and I would guess it had a really big impact on the band's future, because they started to change their sound later to this more commercial sound. And this album is in the band's history is really left in between, and sometimes I really just forget that it exists. So for now it goes to the bottom of the list for me. It's not surprising that they took the whole different route for the next one, which is Sängerkrieg. They tried this more commercial rock sound. It doesn't have very heavy guitars, it's more crunchy than distorted, but in my opinion this one is amazing. I think they hit the bullseye at that moment in their career, because they needed something new.
wenn ich deinen Herzschlag hör, geht es Hand in Hand.
It's not a happy album, but in some way it's feel good. The artwork is also amazing, and when I re-listened to it, it really fascinated me, same as it did back then. It's definitely one of their best albums. If you are looking for more alternative rock sound more than alternative metal, it is the right place to start for you. This one goes to the 3rd place now. It's a new direction for the band, and they nailed it here. Later we have this Sterneneisen. This was solid album as well. I didn't like it as much as Sängerkrieg. It has a different direction now. It has like more commercial sound, but it's more metal than rock.
Ich hoffe, dass du das erkennst. Gold, 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 Gold. Es ist nicht alles Gold, was glänzt.
2/3 of the album is really great content. I don't like the tracks on the end, and it has some guest vocalist here as well as Mile Petroza from Creator. It looks good on paper. I love Creator very much, but in a song he sounds strange. It's better than My Rasenherz, but talking about the other albums that he talked about, it didn't have such impact on me, so I'll put it above Mein Rasenherz, but below other albums. I do not think that's the one that you should start with. Kunstraub, the album that I was waiting so much, and the album that I was disappointed with so much. I really don't remember anything on it. I re-listened it to many times. I gave it a lot of chances. It feels for me like Die Totenhosen with some bagpipes on it. It doesn't sound good for me, it doesn't have memorable moments for me. It really was the worst album at the time. It is called Kunstraub, which in English means art theft, and that's a perfect name for this album because all the art is stolen here. So as you probably guessed, we have to come back to the metal sound again, and they did with Quid Pro Quo. I really had big hopes for this album because Stotterbecker is an amazing opener song, and he has some folk songs again, like Estonian Pikse Palve and the Irish Daknierat. it has some really good stuff that I was waiting for, but all the other songs really disappointed me. So they were onto something here, but I don't think they came back to the level of Sterneneisen, not even better than Mein Rasenherz for me. And there are some other moments that are disturbing for me. The song Roter Stern, I was really disappointed in band choosing this topic, because it's about the Red Army. Even though the text is more negative than positive, it has this a little bit heroic feeling, which makes me sick, because this army, they destroyed a lot of on the way. They killed, they raped, they did crimes to humanity, which brought a new system, which again did a lot of crimes to humanity, exiling families, women and children. As you don't sing and create songs about Nazi soldiers and Nazi Germany, you shouldn't make songs about the Red Army as well, especially with some space to interpret it in different ways. That's what he did. It hurts my feelings. As I said, it's not that bad as Kunstraub, so it will be second from the bottom. And the next one is Kompass zur Sonne, the one that I was not expecting very much, but this one gave the tape back to me, because this album sounds just perfect. In the first place, it has great sounding, it has great melodies. And again, it really feels like a solid album from start to finish. I would even think it can go to the fourth place. This one feels very fresh in this long run. Great album, not to miss. And finally, we go to the latest album, Wolkenschieber, the opening song that was released prior to release of the album, which is the title song. At first I thought it will be more like a drinking album, but it wasn't something that I really wanted to, so I was really curious what they will bring here, and they really brought some good stuff here. First 8 songs are very different. I really forgot the ending of this album even after a few listens, so the ending is not strong. The strongest thing that we have a lot of collaborations with other artists like Rauchbein, Björn Boff von Santiano, Satir von Faun, Joachim Witt. I think what they try to do here is to make every song, I will come up with a new term, Spotifyable. So this album should be called Spotifyable. Although I really appreciate that an album feels more like in a more conceptual way, and this one is more like a compilation of singles, which will not make my favorite In Extremo album, but still it's very enjoyable, it's good. Although I would like next album to be more conceptual, but seeing the band playing sold out shows, who am I to judge them, because they look that they are commercially on the right track, they are bigger than ever, but still I would really love to see them experimenting more in the future, and I hope they will do that again. And that was my personal experience with the band. Yours could be very different. I don't have many people to talk about this band here in Lithuania, because it's not that popular here, so I am really interested in your opinion. Maybe you can rank them in the comments yourself. I'm looking forward for a nice discussion here, so till soon.